6 minutes. It's all nuts. Cheryl Friesen. Please welcome Cheryl.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. The phone rings. Come, pick me up. I need to go to the hospital. Now, I just saw my son 10 minutes prior. I said, now? Come. Yes, I've had peanuts. That was the longest drive ever. Exactly how many stop signs and stoplights are there in this city? Why is the speed limit so slow? And why can't that guy in front of me get moving? That was the beginning of a terrifying day. But there were other days leading up to this particular day. My son Austin has a terrifying allergy. We found out about this allergy when he was about 6 months old, when I gave him a little bit of peanut butter on a pancake. And he rubbed his eyes and played with his hair. And when I took him down to wash him up, his eyes were as red as could be, and he had welts on the back of his neck. Off to the hospital we went. And that was our first indication that he had a nut allergy. And they said, just don't have any nuts in the house. Okay. So at the age of 2.5, he went to a pediatric specialist in Calgary, where he had special testing done. And it came up that he wasn't only allergic to peanuts, he had other allergies to other kinds of nuts. And the recommendation was, don't give him any kind of nuts. But that also went on to beans and legumes, because they're from the same family. And then the doctor asked me, does he like peas? And I said, well, I put them on his plate. He doesn't eat them. And he said, don't force him, because instinctively, young children often know what they're allergic to. And another kind of what I would consider odd thing is licorice. And he has never liked licorice. Not because he's ever got sick from it, but it obviously just doesn't make him feel good. Now, over the years, there have been several different incidents. And as a family, so including my sisters and my dad and his wife, everybody was really careful and no one cooked with nuts. Christmas time is deadly because you want to make something special. You know what people do? Throw in a hand of nuts. But we were very careful to keep everything really clean and free. But one year, well, I always give Austin plates to wherever he went that he always knew he could eat from that plate. He went with his dad to his family function, and I gave him his usual plate of cookies and treats. And when he came home, I said, so how did you like your treats? And he said, well, they sold them. I said, what? And I guess they had a silent auction and the money all went to the food bank, so a very good cause. But I have to tell you, I was a bit miffed that my cookies for my son got sold and he didn't really get to have any treats at that family function. Because at a very young age, he was trained, if it didn't come from home, he just didn't eat it. Now, another time, we actually went to a camp weekend where there was different families. And there again, we're always really careful, but puff wheat square, those have to be safe, don't they? I took one bite of a puff wheat square and I said, there's peanut butter in this. And the woman who made them lost her marbles. She was screaming at me, saying she has the right to put whatever she wants in her puff wheat squares. And she does have that right. I was just making a comment. But I guess if it was her son's life on the line, maybe she would have felt different. But in this case, it was my son. And she was also starting to tick me off. There was also the time when Austin was at school and they had cake. And he went to the teacher and he asked them, does this have nuts in it? Oh, no. See, what I learned over time is that bakeries will never guarantee nut-free because they don't know what's run before that or if the bowl got clean enough from a nut product. He had one bite and his lips got burning and he was running around screaming, there was nuts in that, there was nuts in that. It is terrifying, and it's terrifying as a child when you don't even know how it's going to really hurt you. When your child has a nut allergy, you become the best label reader ever. You check a label once, you check it twice, and just because it didn't have nuts in it last time, you got to check again. With those cakes that I was talking about, I have made birthday cakes. He is now going to be 27 this year. I have made cakes for 27 years. But one year at his birthday, he said, I want this, I want that. He wanted all these fun, different things for his birthday, which I understand. But I said, you know what, Austin, I'm going to have to buy a cake. And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, Mom, you don't buy cakes, you make them. Okay, very true statement. I'm going to go back to that terrifying day. My little 6'1" boy laid on that stretcher with a medical team clamoring all around him, bringing in intubation tools, filling him with epinephrine, and whatever other medication they need to get him stable. It took 4 hours to get him stable, and the advice at the end was carry 2 EpiPens, have them handy at all times, and don't call your mom to come pick you up. You call 911. The next time, this is going to be faster and it's going to be worse. You don't have time for someone else to come pick you up. When someone asks if there's nuts in that, which means all nuts, they are not asking this to make your life miserable. They may be asking this question to save the life of themselves or their loved ones. Honor the allergy. Back to you.
Thank you, Cheryl.